These are the plaintiffs, Karen and Mark Massinio. Karen says she and Mark loaned the defendant money for a wedding venue because she was marrying a guy named Shy, who was like a son to them. Turns out, right after marrying Shy, the defendant ran away with all the wedding money. She didn't pay them back for the $1,766.17 they loaned her. And this woman needs to be taught a big lesson on how to conduct one's life. So they're suing her. This is the defendant, Bailey. She says her ex-husband, Shy, paid the plaintiffs off, and she has the credit card statements to prove it. Shy was the one who stole all of the wedding money. She's suing Shy to try to get half of it, and she wishes she never got involved with this wacky family in the first place. She's accused of stiffing her ex-in-laws.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Massinio, tell me what happened in this case. Go ahead.
Okay, we got a phone call from the defendant and her fiance saying that they couldn't afford the last payment for the venue for their wedding. So they wanted to know if we could help them out.
How long had they been dating?
Oh, I don't know.
How long had you been dating?
3.5 years.
Okay, and you'd known each other how long?
Since I was 13, so
Yeah.
like 15 years.
So, and her fiance is what to you?
A close friend. We're not related.
Okay.
He calls me Ma, but he's a disabled veteran, and we started helping him out. He's like a brother to my daughter.
Okay. So, like a son to you,
Right.
is how you phrased it. All right. Yeah. But, so you decide to look, so the two of them call you, is that what you said?
Yeah,
And the two of them are on the phone?
they're on the speakerphone.
And they
we're
tell
on
you,
the
so
speakerphone.
did they ask you to borrow the money?
Yeah, they wanted to
And-
know if we could help them out.
Right, help them out. And what did you say?
I said, we already helped them out with her wedding gown, which when we went to buy the wedding gown, I said, all right, you guys pay the first 1,000, we'll pay the balance. Well, that didn't happen. We got a phone call from them. They're arguing, saying, who's actually paying for the gown? I said, you know what, just forget it. I'll pay for the gown.
How much did you pay for the gown?
It was, I think, around $1,300 or $1,400.
Okay. So,
So now we get the call about the venue. So when they called, I said, listen, I don't have.
how come you weren't paying for your own wedding dress?
So we were going to take a credit card out for it. My ex-husband came and he was going to, put it out on, and she offered, and I have in writing that it was simply a gift.
How do you have it in writing?
It's in the communications
Oh,
that I
okay.
submitted that it was a gift.
Okay, right, because in some minds, if you don't have the money for it, maybe you don't have a $1,400 wedding dress.
I mean, we
You
were
know.
going to charge it, and
Yeah. All right, so go ahead.
So anyway, when they needed the money for the venue, I said, listen, I don't have the cash. We cannot afford this payment. I'm still paying off on the dress.
Well, that's the other thing. If you can't afford to buy the dress, don't, because it's a $1,400 wedding. Like if I told my mother at the time that I got married that I wanted a $1,400 wedding dress, I can't even imagine. I mean, most people don't get that. And I realize that there's people with $10,000 or $20,000 wedding dresses. I just don't get that. But apparently you two do, because you're picking it out and you're buying it, even though you don't have the money and even though you don't have the money. All right, go on.
All right, so I said, listen, I have a credit card, zero balance. I will let you pay the last
Who did you
payment.
say that to?
It was Shy and Bailey on
They're both on the phone.
speakerphone,
Okay.
and we're on speakerphone.
Okay.
I said, I can let you do that. They said, all right, we would be able to pay you back with the wedding money, the gifts we get from the wedding, and then
When did they get married?
Halloween weekend.
And when did they separate?
I don't even know because
How long were you guys married?
we were only married for 3 months. We got
3
married
months.
October 29th, 2021, and I left on January 22nd of 2022.
Okay. So in those 3 months, did you ever say, hey, wedding over, you got your gifts, can I get paid back?
what happened was October, We waited November, figuring, all right, you got to wait for some checks to clear, whatever. Then we ran into Christmas.
Well, we don't run into Christmas. Many days pass. Christmas
Yes.
doesn't slap us in November.
Yes.
So many days pass. So you never asked to be paid back until after these two broke up.
Right.
Right. How long after they broke up did you ask to get paid?
I didn't ask to get
You
paid.
filed a lawsuit.
That was in August, because in January 17th, I fell on the ice and broke my ankle in 7 places. It wound up with 15 pins and rods.
Oh, jeez.
So I was laid up until July with this injury. So I wasn't even concerned about it.
Have you ever asked Shy for the money back?
Well, Shai's a disabled veteran. He's not working. He has no income at all. And when I did talk to him about it, he said the wedding money, they went to the bank together, put all the money into an account, and apparently Bailey was taking the money out of the account. So there was no money left out of the
When was the
wedding.
first time you brought it up to Shy?
It was after I fell. So
So during your recuperation or after your
it
recuperation?
was during. It must have been like May.
Does he live with you?
No.
Now, during this interim time, at some point, she has a lawyer call you to ask you for the wedding dress. Tell me about that. When did that happen?
What happened was, at the wedding, I worked for a dry cleaner. So I said, give me the wedding gown and I will have it dry cleaned, and the train was ripped off. So I said, I'll have it fixed and dry cleaned and preserved for you.
Right. I have my wedding dress. We're going to go on our 30th year anniversary, and my wedding dress in that box has not been opened. I assume it's ashes in there. I can't even imagine. Oh, how do they preserve? What magic thing do they do that they, quote, preserve it? It's just something they spray it with? What is it?
I have no idea.
Right. And it's expensive, too.
And they're not even doing
And
it.
what was I thinking? I weighed like 100 pounds. I don't know anybody who's going to wear that dress again. You know,
Yeah, they're
none
not
of my
even-
kids. My kids are healthy. They have a healthy attitude, you know. She had a lawyer called you, and you found that you were a little bit off-put by that.
That's when I actually found out that they were even getting divorced.
What do you mean?
I didn't know anything about it.
He didn't tell you?
No, I didn't really speak to him.
When
much.
did you get the call from the lawyer?
In May.
So it had been months that she had left, 5 months, and he had never told her, you guys aren't that close.
Well, no, because I was laid up. I wasn't.
Well, no, you were
talking to
laid up. He should come and visit you and tell you, I hate being the bearer of bad news, but we split up something. I mean,
We didn't have anybody coming to the
Oh,
house because
okay.
I was stuck for 8 weeks.
In a
just
wheelchair.
in a recliner.
No, I know. That's when I want everybody at my house, when I'm in a wheelchair. I want everybody in a semicircle entertaining me. But, all right. Okay, so a lawyer calls you and tells you my client would like her wedding dress. And you say,
As soon as I could
why didn't you
drive-
call her?
Well, I reached out 2 times before that and got a little bit of a runaround that she couldn't give it to me. So finally my
But had
lawyer-
you ever reached out and said to her, we broke up?
Yes,
Oh, you did? Yeah.
twice.
Twice?
Twice.
And when did you do that?
So originally when I left on the 22nd of January, I messaged her saying, I'm leaving my ex-husband, I can't take it anymore, I'm gonna file for a divorce. Then in February again, I reached out and said, I'm still filing for a divorce. When my wedding dress is done, can you reach directly out to me? And so both those times I told her I was
And
divorcing
did she
him.
respond or no?
She did.
And what did she say?
She stated she understood. She just couldn't give me my wedding dress then because she was still injured, and she would always postpone the date on when I could have my wedding dress
Okay,
back.
so you had the lawyer contact her. Did you get your wedding dress, first of all?
I did.
Okay, so that's not an issue. The issue is this money. According to her,
Correct.
the two of you called and asked for them to pay it. She would like you to pay it back. And she has the option of doing that because if the two of you called and asked for the money, then you're both debtors on this, and you're both what we call jointly and severally liable under the eyes of the law. That would mean she could sue whoever she wants. She likes him, I guess, and she's not so keen on you, so she's chosen you, which she can do. But now, tell me what happened with that payment. How did that come about?
Okay, so initially I was not on speakerphone. I never had anything to do with this. Actually, I made my ex-husband in charge of that $1,500 that was left because I took 3 loans out of my name already. So I was like, okay, a day later, he comes home, credit card in hand. How do I charge it on there? So I sat down with him, showed him how to charge it onto the credit card. Never mentioned that there was a loan, a repayment, anything of that sort. He charged it, we moved on, we got married, we stayed in contact.
At any point in time was she saying, hey, you owe me money?
No. So then when I leave in January, I ask her for my wedding dress. She says, no problem, never mentions the money. Again in February, never mentions the money. I reach out in May after my lawyer did. She never mentioned.
Actually, she tells your lawyer, tell her to call me directly, and you do.
I do. I messaged her over Facebook and said, look, I'm sorry that she contacted you. I just wanted a date. She said maybe mid-June. So June comes and goes. I reach out in July and said, look, I want my wedding dress.
Why do you want your wedding dress so badly?
Just,
To sell it?
yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be. I hope that's it, because otherwise, I'm wondering why you're so desperate for a memory of a 2-month wedding, of a 2-month marriage.
Even at one point in May, I said, look, I understand you bought it. If you want to keep it, that's fine. But my mother gave me a brooch that I wore on my wedding dress. I said, I just really want that back. She's like, oh, I don't want it. I don't need it. You can have it back.
Okay.
So she said, fine, you can have it July. It was the end of July. We met at a local police department.
At a police department? Why was that necessary?
She thought that because there was cameras, if there was any issues, my lawyer
Okay.
could see the camera.
Okay.
And I said, okay, thanks, have a great day. Then she called me some vulgar names. We get in the car.
Oh, wait, she called you vulgar names?
Yeah.
What did she call you? Had you had words with her at all before that?
No. My mom was even there with me, standing next to me. And I was like, thanks, have a great day. She's like, you. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay. So we just got in the car, drove
All
away.
right. Now, talk to me about the wedding money. According to her, Shai says you stole all the wedding money.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiffs say they want to teach this defendant a lesson of responsibility, and they want their money specifically that they loaned her for her wedding. But the defendant says she wishes she never got involved with this wacky family and owes them nothing. Let's go back into the courtroom.
So my divorce was just finalized. The judge just signed it today, so I sent that over.
Today?
Today.
Oh, that was timely.
So actually, something that I fought for was part of my wedding money back.
Because he had
Because he
taken.
took it, and I was granted that in my divorce, and he
What-
deposited.
Okay, hold on. Show me that. Show me
So
that.
this is the deposit of his of the wedding money. It's the highlighted ones. It's like $3,595.
Yep.
In here, it actually says judgment was entered to the defendant in the favor of the plaintiff is $1,562.
Which is half of this
Which
amount?
was half of that amount. So I was just awarded that. So he had the full amount in his bank account. And I never
Why
got
are you
a
shaking
dime
your
of
head?
it.
That means the judge looked at the bank accounts and made this decision. Judgment is entered against the defendant. The defendant is Shai. In favor of the plaintiff, she's the plaintiff, in the amount of $1,562.25. That means he had the money and she wanted the half of it. Said sum represents 50% of the wedding gifts retained by the defendant. I mean, the judge actually found that. Well, I'm just telling you.
I didn't know about it. Till
I
today.
understand what he told you. Now I'm telling you what the judge discovered after looking at all the bank account records and stuff. So that's eye-opening, right? Okay.
May I say something else?
Yeah.
He also, he made 2 payments to that credit card to her.
To her?
To her. One is $50 and one
Oh,
is
yeah.
$150. That there was a new fee and
Why am I seeing payments from? See, they subpoenaed Shai's business, his bank account, and in it shows that he's paying this credit card. He pays $50 once, the credit card in question, and $150 another time. And then, did you give credit for those payments in your lawsuit?
No,
Okay.
because I didn't see him.
So, and according to you, he's the one who borrowed the money.
Correct.
Because you had already pulled out all these loans.
Yes.
And all these loans are still in your name.
Yes.
And you're still paying them off.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you sell the wedding dress?
No, not yet.
When
I
you
wanted
do,
to-
are you going to mention the bad juju of the wedding dress?
No, I don't. No, I just want someone to buy it.
Right. I'm not sure that would be a big selling point. Ms. Messino, tell me about the police department encounter. Did you kind of lose your control and insult her?
No,
I was there.
You
I
were
wasn't
there?
with her.
And
I didn't hear anything. It was very quick. She just made sure she was in front of a camera.
uh-huh.
I
Because we
worked there for
wanted-
35 years, so I knew there was cameras where we were.
This
Okay.
way, no one could say she didn't get the brooch or the dress.
Right.
But I have a Facebook message from her where I said, did you make this? And she said, yes.
Oh, let's talk about that.
did it.
Hold on. And let's see exactly what you're talking about. Facebook messages. Did you guys charge $14.50 On our credit card to AARMARK. The credit card company's just trying to verify it was us and not fraud. I'm assuming that may be the aquarium. Is that the venue?
The venue, yes.
Right. And she says, yes, it's the venue. Sorry, Shy told me I could.
Which means she did it.
Yeah, it means she did it, and it means that she wasn't on that phone originally.
Yes, she
if
was.
she's saying,
No, she said-
sorry, Shy told me I could, then the one who gave her the credit card information was Shy.
No, I
That's
gave-
why she's saying, sorry, Shy told me I could, with a question mark, like, did I misunderstand Shy? Is there something wrong? Why would, if she was on that phone conversation, why would she say, sorry, Shy told me I could?
Because-
Clearly, Shy's the guy who talked to you and then told her that she could.
Nope, she was on the phone.
Then why would she say, sorry, Shy told me I could, instead of, yeah, you told me I could?
Because she thought he was going to do it. He obviously didn't do it. She did it.
What difference does it make who plugs in the numbers? You're asking if a charge was made on your credit card, and the woman is saying to you, sorry, Shy told me I could, like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? You know? Like maybe Shy wasn't being honest or something, and she was now scared because she's the one who inputted it. You say you didn't even input it.
No, my
But-
ex-husband did. But I helped him.
Whatever, it doesn't matter who inputted it. It matters who got the loan. And the word sorry, Shy told me I could pretty much tells me what I need to know.
All I know is I lent them the money.
Right, and that's the rub. You need to prove you lent them the money and not Shy. And that Facebook message tells me the opposite of what you're saying. But also, you would still need to prove it. You can't just say something. Now, I understand that in this kind of relationship, you might not get a promissory note, but there might be a text or an email or something. And it turns out there is. There's a message. And in the message, sorry, Shy told me I could means not you told me I could. It means Shy told me I could, which tells me that it's the way she says, and that, in fact, she was never on that phone call, and you're just angry that you put all this money and faith into this couple, and then she left him. I'm ruling in favor of the defendant in this case.
So the judge determines the defendant is not liable in this case, and so the plaintiffs lose. Let's see what they have to say.
I have nothing to say.
No comment?
Nope,
Nothing to say.
absolutely not.
Is there anything more you can do?
No. Pay
What do
the
you
bill.
think, Mr. Messina?
Pay the
No
bill.
comment.
No comment. All right, you don't have to comment. I'm sure you're not thrilled, though.
Oh, no. We'll just pay the
Right.
bill, move on. And thank God she's out of
All
our
right, well-
lives. We
Well,
love
then
him.
you got to talk to him about it.
No, we'll just pay the bill. How are you going to get money
Well,
out of a
all right.
disabled vet with no job?
Okay.
We're
good
done.
enough. All right, so Bailey is off the hook. Bailey, how do you feel about this?
I'm very happy. I feel great about it.
Do you ever hear from Shy now?
No, I do
mean,
not.
And I gather you don't want to.
No, not really.
And your divorce went through today, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, you're off the hook. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Harvey?
Well, Doug, I think the key to this case is permission. The fact is there was permission to use the credit card, and that pretty much torpedoes everything. So, that's what you got to prove when an issue like this is in dispute.
What do you do with your dog when you're taping the show?
Oh my gosh, we have a dog sitter. We have a couple of dog sitters, depending on who's available.
Right.
And right now she's with a dog sitter named Kate, who we call it Doggy Disney over there because she owns this beautiful big property. and
Huge
she has-
yard.
Huge yard,
Right,
and my dog
room to roam.
loves being there. As sad as she gets when we're gone.
Plus, she really is fond of her dog, Rupert.
Oh yeah, the
Right?
dog.
So they
Our
hang
dog
out
loves
together.
one of her. She has 3 dogs there, or
Right.
2 dogs, 2 more. I don't know.
So
It's Doggy Disney over there. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you've had her here.
Oh, yeah.
So in fact, we've got some interesting photos of her here on the bench with you.
Right. We brought her up. What was it? Last month. Right.
And
Yeah.
that was quite the adventure because you and I drove last month for the first time. ever.
Drove with her,
Right.
fully expecting to stop somewhere in D.C. or
Right.
Baltimore.
And it was
No
a 3-day
room at the
weekend.
inn.
Right. So where did we end up sleeping that night, Marilyn?
The People's Court.
That's right.
We
right
actually
here in
slept
this
here. We got
building.
here at 3 in the morning, and you had the genius idea that let's just stay at the People's Court, and we finally we got. And there were no hotel rooms in Connecticut. There were no hotel rooms anywhere. And by now it was too late to wake up my producer and say, "I'm outside your door" at 1 in the morning, or your brother, or anybody else whose houses we were driving by, and we were just
So we
a
came
mess.
here, and you have a sofa, like a sectional in your chambers, and I have a sofa in my chambers.
Right.
So I went to my chambers, went to sleep, and
Had
you and the
best
dog.
sleep
Right.
ever.
And you and the dog slept on your sofa, right?
Yep.
That wasn't so bad.